Hey, it's Cody. This is a VR response to the tag Your Perfect Deck by Isca at the Stitchin' Witch. So, I saw their video, and it was just a really interesting thing, I think, to think about. If I personally were in charge of all the parts of a deck, if I were to make my absolute perfect deck, what would I pick? And honestly, it took me longer to come up with some of these than I thought I'd just be able to, you know, pull shit off the top of my head. But to really think about it, it actually took me a little bit, which is kind of weird. So there are 9 different questions, and I got other decks that I own as examples. So, all right, the first question is, what kind of theme would my perfect deck have? So, I've got 2 examples for this one. It would definitely be a foresty sort of theme. This is the Wildwood Tarot. Please excuse the terrible trim job that I did, but just the whole foresty vibe. Kind of fairy tale-y, if that's a word. My other example for this is oh my god, I just have like naked decks sitting here that are not in things. So if one of them falls, I'm going to flip shit. This is the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. And I think this would also be a good candidate for the sort of theme that I'm thinking. I like the green, you know, it's just very full of life. I like kind of the fantasy sort of elements in here. So it would definitely be like a foresty kind of theme. The next question is, what kind of cardstock and finish would it have? So I got... This is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. This is Llewellyn's old cardstock. So it's kind of thinner. It's not gloss. I don't know the right word for this. It's not gloss, it's not matte. It's thin, okay? I like thin, and I also like smaller decks. Not only do I have super small hands, but I also have, like, rheumatoid arthritis setting in, so it's... Thick decks and I do not get along. If I can't riffle shuffle it, it kind of pisses me off too. I mean, I have a lot that I can't, but I will say that I hate when I can't. So the next one is, what I have, borders or no borders? Okay, so this one I kind of had a hard time thinking about. Well, I had a fine time thinking about it. I had a hard time coming up with my answer. At first, I was just like, oh, well, I would definitely go borderless. But the more I thought about it, the more I started thinking maybe I wouldn't. Now, I'm not necessarily a big border fan, but here's a couple of examples of borders that I like. This is the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot, and we've got our border here, but things are sort of escaping it. Not only do these sort of fit in with the card meanings and what's sticking out is what's important, you know, what the card is sort of overflowing with. But I like that it just has that, it's sort of contained, but just a little bit it's creeping out. So I do really like the border situation on this. Like, even the card titles, the little, I don't know, banner that it's on sort of comes down. So I like that, but I also like, this is the Madame Lydia Wilhelmina's whatever, and I also like the idea of this kind of border, where it sort of feels like there's something keeping the card in, but the artwork, it doesn't interrupt the artwork. So I certainly don't want, like, big, blocky white borders or anything. I think this is kind of simple and elegant, maybe, so I do really like the borders like that. So I would do probably some sort of border that's sort of part of the artwork rather than just a big plain colored edge, you know, keeping it in there like a fucking fortress wall. Okay, the next one was, would I do tarot, Lenormand, or an oracle deck? Now, the old me would have gone right ahead and been like, yeah, I want to see a tarot deck. I didn't grab any for this, so I don't know what I was doing, but since the last couple years, maybe, I have run into some Oracle decks that I really fucking love. I mean, these are so well thought through. Just the guidebooks are amazing. The artwork is amazing. It's not, I'm not talking like Hay House level shit, okay? I mean, I'm thinking the Kantaji Oracle, the Weaver's Oracle, oh, I do have the Endless Oracle right here, sorry, by Eric Mail. So, I guess I'll show this while I'm talking about it, but I have really been on a kick, actually, of Oracle decks, and I know some people are really into the tradition, you know, of tarot, and I get that, totally, but that doesn't make me against something new, right? So I just love the way, I like seeing just the way people's brains work, you know, outside of what's considered, like, the mainstream kind of shit, really. And I'm really starting to feel like Oracle decks might kind of be where it's at for me right now. In that I'm liking to see the new shit coming out instead of this just the same thing. I mean, tarot decks can have some, they can kind of skew different, but they're never actually different, you know? Otherwise, it ceases to be a tarot deck and starts being an oracle. Does that make sense? So, no, I would definitely have my deck be an oracle. I say no to Lenormand, just because I don't read it, but I am aware that there's not really, like, varying interpretations of cards. They're very straightforward, so I definitely, would not pick that. Okay, so, number 5 is what I have: keywords, titles, phrases, or mantras. Like, what would be the thing that I would have on my deck? So, I got an example of a deck that I actually like. I love how I just talk shit about Hay House, and I think this deck actually is Hay House. Well, I can't see it. Shit, I can't see the box from here. This is the, Herbal Astrology Oracle. I like... Okay, first of all, I also want to say, that if... Going back to the first one, what kind of theme would my deck have? It would be foresty, but I would definitely want this kind of muted color in it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't... If I feel like it's, like, Crayola colors, I don't like it. Do you see how we've got a full spectrum of colors here? They're muted. Additionally, what I actually got this for was, shit, what was it? Oh, keywords, titles, phrases, or mantras. So I like titles. I would definitely go with titles. I would certainly want numbers so that people could easily look it up in the guidebook that I would, in my imagination, I would have. And then I also do like keywords. So I would do numbers, I would do titles, and I would definitely do keywords. Because if you... I just feel like they need all those things. You know? If it was just... I don't know. I'm starting to overthink this. Yeah, I would definitely do the titles like this. Also, I really like this deck. I just kind of... I always have to... I don't work with plants very much, and this deck kind of, like, scares me about plants, but, like, I don't even have to worry about the plants because it has the keywords. Okay, that's my own problem. I'm moving on from that. Okay, so the next one is... Let's see, I wrote these in the wrong thing. Oh, packaging! Okay, so I have 2 packaging options that I personally would go with. So, I really like... Okay, first of all, I like boxes that are pretty much deck-sized. They're easy to sit on a shelf. I don't feel like I have to, like, I don't know. I want them to not take up bookshelf space, if that makes sense. I don't like the big, huge-ass ones, really. So I like this one. It's got magnetic closure. This is indie packaging. Again, this is the Endless Oracle. I like the little, ribbon to get this out. Also... Jesus. Yeah, I like that. Or I also like this, where it's just, you know, got little thumb cutouts. I'm fine with the 2-piece box. I mean, if I got to be the boss of literally every single thing, I would definitely want some sort of, like, picture in there. This has got a guidebook that, oops, Jesus, that fits inside, that's also, deck sized. So everything's in there. I'm not having to find somewhere else to put the guidebook. Okay, well, I like that about this, but I would definitely be, when I get to the guidebook part, I would definitely be writing a guidebook, and it would not be, like, small to fit in the fucking thing. Alright, so the next question, what do we got here? Number 7 is, what kind of art or artist? Okay, so this is purely in the realm of fantasy, okay? But if... Jesus. If I knock one of these decks off, you're gonna hear me flip shit on camera. I would have Marie White, the creator and artist of the Mary L. Tarot. That's not a good example. But I love this artwork. I understand that it took her like 10 or 12 years to do all of these oil paintings, but like, I would. This shit is so beautiful. Like, where's kind of a foresty card, man? It would be my absolute shit. Look at this. This is like a fall forest. That's fucking beautiful. Or is it a forest fire? Okay, I don't know. Okay, where's like a green and leafy kind of card? Like, so look at this shit. If this was some sort of like abandoned fucking ruins in a forest, you know, or where'd that guy go? Jesus. So yeah, in my little fantasy world, I would have this artist in muted colors make me a foresty deck. Or maybe Linnea Weatherstone, who did the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. I will say that while I like the idea of forests, I would ultimately, I think I would want people in it, too. I wouldn't want, like, just an animal deck. I like just animal decks, and I have quite a few of them, but if I were making, like, my perfect deck, I would have people in it. Alright, number 8. Here we are. Would I go indie or mass market? This might be kind of a weird answer to this. But if I got to pick, I think that I would go mass market. And I'll tell you why. I am into accessibility for the spiritual community. And, I mean, I'm imagining if you're like a teenager just getting into this shit, right? Or, you know, people are just in all kinds of situations, and then if I could choose to have my deck, you know, someone spend $25 on my deck, or 60, I'm gonna pick 25. I understand that, like, even if I didn't get to have complete control over it, or things like that, I am about accessibility, and if I made a deck, I would want the absolute top amount of people. You know, everyone who wants it, I would want them to be able to get it. And I wouldn't want anyone to feel like they're having to, like, you know, move around weird budget shit if they, like, really wanted it or something. So yeah, for that reason, I would go mass market. Okay, so number 9, I didn't write it down exactly, as the question was written, which I probably should have. I just wrote other. Some examples were diversity, formats for the guidebook, language, etc. Okay, so the first thing, concerning diversity, for this I actually try to look up, I mean, I guess it depends on people's, like, definition of whiteness, but, like, really what percentage are white people of, like, the human population? There wasn't quite a straight answer, but it looked to be about 9%. So I was thinking, if I wanted my deck with the people in it to be a better reflection of what humans look like, right? Decks should be, in my opinion, about the human experience. And when you're only seeing white, thin, able-bodied people depicted across every fucking card in decks, and there's so many of them like that, it's just not. That's not for everyone. And I understand not everything can be for everyone, but there's certainly ways that we can make things, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that, but I've gotten rid of quite a few decks that were, like, just fucking body beautiful, I don't know, people in their 20s. I don't know if I'm too old for that or what. When I'm looking at cards, I'm not looking for, like, I like the idea of fantasy as in, like, dragons and shit, but I don't like the idea of fantasy as in, what if everyone was skinny and white? Like, that, I have no fucking interest in that. So, if there's 78 cards, right, that's almost 80, so if we did about 9%, man, I don't know, I'm not good at this. Fucking 10% of 80 would be 8, so I'll do, like, 6 white people. Okay, there you go. I don't want any blonde people. Full offense. It's just, I don't want, I'm trying to think of a kind way to say this. I fucking hate a lot of decks out there. It's gotten a lot better than it used to be, but it's still just nowhere close. And it's really sad to me. Like, why is it taking such a long time to just get some shit out here? If these people are able to shit out decks this fucking fast, then they should also be able to be like, hey, we're done with just the fucking one body type kind of shit, right? Additionally, I want more fat people and I want more old people, as well as color diversity, like, ability diversity, fucking, I want to see all of it. I want fucking old people, man. I want, like, 50% of my cards to be people 50 years old and older. Man, I want fucking crones. I want fucking sages. Even the Empress, I'm tired of it, like, the Empress weirdly being almost like a maiden type of thing. Like, if you're a mother, you don't look like a lot of these depictions of the Empress. I don't know, man. So one that really gets me is court cards where, like, the king and queen look like they're 20. Man, I'm just tired of it. There's a lot of shit that I'm tired of, and I don't want to turn this whole video into this. But I would certainly have a lot of bossiness when it comes to how people are being depicted in my perfect deck. Also, I want to talk about format for the guidebook. Okay, so I have 2 examples here. I don't know necessarily about format as in, like, how I would have the page set up. But here's an example. Okay, not to, like, you know, I don't know, be, full of myself, but I think that I would write a pretty mean fucking guidebook for a deck. So, and there are 2 approaches that I really like. This is the Restless Meditations. This is the guidebook, that goes with, oh my god, the Tarot Restless by, Winslow Dumaine. So the way that this deck is set up is it's set in, like, an alternate reality, but each card has a short horror story. We've got, you know, the name of the card, sort of like a little, key phrase here. We've got keywords, and then just a really short story. While my brain doesn't really work exactly this way, it would be more like folk-tale-y kind of than horror, but I really love the setup of this. It really gives depth to the cards. That's not the same old shit you always hear, you know? So this would be, one way, or this is, the guidebook for the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot, also written by the same guy. And this deck, excuse me, this guidebook not only talks about what the card means, but exactly why he drew what he drew for the cards. That, I always think that's super important. Especially as there just gets more and more tarot decks out there. Eventually just turns into a blur of the shit all being the same. Unless, I feel like guidebooks are a lot of times what sets decks apart from each other. And just, you know, how they're approaching the cards. And I always want to know why something has been drawn. I think that's a really important aspect of it. So yeah, I would probably, you know, explain in a story sort of way what's actually been drawn, if that makes any sense. So these were all of my thoughts about the hashtag your perfect deck. I will, of course, post Isca's original video in the description box so you can go and check that out. And I would really love to see this video from other people, just, you know, to see where people are coming from. So, thanks for watching. Bye.